The announcement of Minecraft 1.20 is just around the corner, but there's already a lot of features that are likely to be in it, so I'll show you 20 things that could be added to Minecraft's next update. The first thing that could definitely be in Minecraft 1.20 is the bundle. Now the bundle is technically already inside of the game, but basically in the way that it works right now, there are some issues, and it can only be summoned into the game with commands. Now this was announced at Minecon 2020, where they talked about all the Caves and Cliffs features, and this was supposed to be something with that. But either way, if they added it, this would basically be something where you could store a bunch of items into a bundle, as long as all of them equal out to a stack, then it would still work, which is of course perfect for a lot of different things, and the emphasis would be on early game, as of course you can get all these different types of items, so hopefully they'll add the bundle in Minecraft 1.20 that, if all goes according to plan, would be crafted out of rabbit hides and string. Another thing that could possibly be added in Minecraft 1.20 is a new type of cactus. Now the reason why is that during one of Minecraft's yearly live streams, we had a sneak peek at what a potential mesa biome update could look like as one of the biome votes. Although this did lose, one of the features that they suggested might be added is a new flowering cactus. They didn't really look like the ones I'm seeing right here, having somewhat more of a prickly paracactus look to them than these sort of tall cactuses. But either way, I'm sure that a new flowering cactus variety would have a lot of uses added on with it, sort of like the berry bushes, where maybe there's a new mob that does something with the cactus flowers, or you could even perhaps cook the flowering cactus to get a cactus fruit. For almost the entire history of Minecraft, the best piece of armor was diamond armor, but then in the Nether update we had netherite, a new tier of armor that was made by merging a netherite ingot with a piece of diamond armor and upgrading your armor effectively, with also some special buffs on this, like for instance knockback resistance and also less fire damage. And considering the fact that the Nether update was released over 2 years ago, it makes a lot of sense that we would have a new armor type be added in Minecraft 1.20. For instance, in this mod we have over 4 more tiers of new armor that could be added to the game. Of course, the ores you would mine to get this might be in the Nether, they might be in the end, or they might even just be in the overworld, or maybe even just an ore that would occasionally be found in the blocks of a certain dimension or biome. I think that the chance of Minecraft adding new armor types is very high. Also, if you're enjoying these videos about Minecraft 1.20, be sure to subscribe with notifications on, then you'll never miss any of my videos about Minecraft 1.20 or the new update. Whenever Mojang eventually decides on updating the desert biome, they promise to add Meerkat mobs. And although they did not appear just like this inside of the Minecon Live, it is interesting to see what Meerkats might be like inside of Minecraft. Now they said they were not sure if this would be a hostile or passive mob, however if you do anger one of the Meerkats they all come after you, very similarly to zombified piglins. And something interesting you'll notice is that they walk quite slowly. Now you couldn't actually feed the Meerkats fish because, well, they're not actually cats. And just beware, because if Mojang does add these and decides to have them be a hostile mob, they could definitely attack you if you anger them, or maybe even just on their own if they happen to become predators. Something that I think we could certainly find in a 1.20 update is a new biome, and maybe even multiple new biomes. You see, whether or not 1.20 is an update for the end or the overworld, or maybe even just re-adding some of the features they have before, we could still definitely see a brand new biome. For instance, when Mojang decided to update the swamps, they didn't really update them, they just added a new swamp biome to the game, with the old swamp biome still being there. And so because of that, we could potentially see a really cool new biome in the game. Maybe something crazy like this in the end, where we have new mushrooms and plants and trees and wood types, or potentially just a new variant for the savanna biome. And it'll be awesome to see what kind of crazy new features we could potentially have in a brand new biome. The strange portal-like structure that does generate in the center of every ancient city really does seem to have a secret behind it. After all, why would there be in the center of the ancient city this sort of strange structure that resembles a portal, even having its own special block type around the edge of it, the reinforced deep slate, because that's the only place in the entire game that the reinforced deep slate generates in. As well as that, on something like the Skulk Shrieker or the Skulk Catalyst, we have this sort of pale white color and you'll notice that pale white color is also on the reinforced deep slate there, which certainly seems to reinforce the idea that this central portal structure has something to do with Skulk. Some people think a portal like this would have a new dimension on the other side, and although it could, this could also be a teleportation hub, or potentially you could instantly teleport between different portals inside of the overworld. When Mojang said they would make a Birch Forest update, a big feature of that would be new flowers, as there are actually quite a few types of flowers that were in the concept art for the Birch Forest, although they may never end up updating it. If a Birch Forest is part of the 1.20 update, I think that having new flowers within Minecraft is definitely a possibility, as of course in Minecraft right now a new flower type hasn't been added since 1.14, and even then these flowers weren't much different from the flowers that were already in the game. And so to add a new flower type, maybe even one that grows out of trees, or ones that go around pools, could definitely be a good thing. As we already know from Mojang's biome updates, they will often add new foliage, for instance the berry bushes that were added in the taiga update. So hopefully the Birch Forest does still get updated in Minecraft 1.20, and we can enjoy all the amazing new flower types that could potentially generate in. Mojang says that Archeology will be added to the game in the future, and from the previews that we have of that already, we can see that there'll most likely be some strange ruins scattered along the world, and so basically what would happen is you would go up to these, you would slowly dig away all the dirt and all the remnants from time, and eventually get hopefully a treasure from underneath these piles of rubble. Now of course I think Archeology works really well in a game like Minecraft, but a really specific feature of this if added into the game would be these ruins, as of course right now you can find things like ruined portals scattered along the world, but being able to then run into these archaeological ruins here and there, and also that being the only source in the game for the rare items that you could potentially uncover, and I think that it's very likely as well, because unless Mojang focuses on something that has nothing to do with the overworld, Archeology being added to Minecraft 1.20, in my opinion, is basically definite. I would say that one of the biggest groups of items that is still lacking in Minecraft is certain customizable food items. So of course there's things like eggs in Minecraft, but you literally cannot eat them as is, so you cannot boil them or you cannot make them into fried eggs, which is just sort of a strange thing. There's no way of directly consuming an egg. But also the game will add things like sweet berries, and yet they'll have no unique crafting recipes with them. That's why I think that the game should potentially add not only new food types, like let's say coconuts and coconut slices, but also maybe adding recipes for things that are already in the game. So for instance fried eggs, berry pie, or a berry jam to be added alongside a lot of other new food types. Also something fun if they did add coconuts to the game would maybe be coconut milk. As Minecraft has said in a desert update, they could potentially add a type of tree that would have coconuts on it. And that tree is the next thing that could very likely be added to Minecraft 1.20. Palm trees. Now palm trees are one of the things that could have been added to Minecraft if the desert won during the biome vote, and palm trees could of course feature some coconuts with them, or even if not, having a new palm log that could be turned into palm planks, or even crafted into all the different varieties of wood types would be awesome, as I do think that Minecraft could definitely use a couple new wood types, although of course having the mangrove wood recently was very good. Also having maybe palm wood would be nice. And I would say for as long as I've played Minecraft, I've seen players building palm trees around deserty areas, and so although I would not agree with them generating this frequently, perhaps having a palm tree oasis biome as a sub-biome within the desert could be an amazing feature to add if Minecraft does eventually decide on doing the desert update again. And outside of jungles and coral reefs, there's not much that feels really tropical within Minecraft, so adding in the palm trees would definitely add a nice touch. Anyone who plays Bedrock can agree on the fact that their offhand is pretty terrible. In Java Edition, you can put literally any item you want into your offhand, you just may not be able to use it there. But in Bedrock Edition, you can't put maps in your offhand, which is very strange to me. You can't put a sword or a pickaxe or any tools in your offhand, Of course you can have a shield in your offhand, but crazy enough you can't even put blocks in the offhand. And what I found very shocking the first time I ever played Bedrock Edition is that you literally cannot even put torches in your offhand. So for instance, my main strategy when caving is to have a sword in my right hand and torches in my left hand or offhand, but in Bedrock Edition that's simply not able to be done, and even something as basic as, let's say, having a map in your offhand, although it does work if it's a filled out map, as you can see right here, it simply does not work if it's an unfilled map. Clay pots and pottery are coming to Minecraft whenever Archeology comes to Minecraft. During the Minecraft live event that announced the Archeology system, they also said that something you could find would be different shards of ceramic that would be inside of these archaeological digs, and once you found those you could put them on clay pots that you'd designed, and when they're on top of campfires for a while, what would basically happen is they would harden and cook, and those patterns would then be merged into the pottery that you've created. And to me, just like fireworks or making banners, having a system of customizable pottery within Minecraft makes a lot of sense. Then it really doesn't make any sense that Minecraft doesn't have these clay pots in the game already, since there's been clay for a long time, but all you've been able to make out of it was just bricks and flower pots. Now for a large clay pot that's not only decorative, but can also be used to store ancient history that you've found among archaeological digs. Vultures could definitely be added in Minecraft 1.20, and you'd have to be aware of these mobs as they could potentially be hostile. Now vultures may work something like phantoms, which was definitely not a very popular mob being added to the game, but however they work in that way, they're going to have a couple specific things with them. The first one is they'll be attracted to loot or items on the ground, so I would assume if a player dies, basically the vulture would circle around those items and then grab them. However, with things like the recovery compass being added to the game, this does seem like a little bit of a similar behavior, but if there is a Mesa biome update, Mojang said they would add the vulture to the game, and of course the Mesa biome was during one of the mob votes. Or maybe there'd be randomly generated piles of loot that the vulture would circle around, so if you looked high in the air and saw some vultures far away, if you walked towards those there could be some loot that they're above. Minecraft actually has very few boss mobs in it. In fact, under the strict definition of a boss mob, all we have is the Wither and the Ender Dragon, and so something that Minecraft 1.20 could definitely add to it, and so a long overdue update to Minecraft could potentially be a new boss mob. Now whether you'd fight this in the Nether, the End, or somewhere else we don't know, and of course some people might think of the Warden or the Elder Guardian as a boss mob, and they somewhat are, but as a full-on established fight, where once you've found that mob you have to get it immediately, I definitely think that a new boss mob is long overdue for Minecraft, and so seeing one of these in 1.20 would make a lot of sense. In fact, I've actually seen some old Reddit posts from about 5 or 6 years ago saying that the biggest thing that Minecraft would need to be added is a new boss mob, and here we are over 6 years later and we still have no new ones. Just like a new boss mob, another feature that hasn't been added to the game for a very long time is a new overpowered item, and so Elytra was really the last one that was added to the game. Of course there's things like beacons as well, maybe totems of undying, but outside of these items, a really awesome endgame item really just hasn't been added to the game for quite a long time. And so there are definitely different mods that adds new different late game items, like let's say hammers, or different late game loot types, but maybe special items that feature amazing powers could be useful. After all, things like beacons or Elytra or totems of undying are something that every player goes for, and since one of those hasn't been added for so long, it really only makes sense. Maybe even something like what this mod adds with this upgraded Elytra, being able to add something that just is a little bit more powerful than what's currently in the game could definitely be good. Although Minecraft does seem to have a lot of different farmable plants, it actually doesn't. There's really only a couple other than crops, just sugarcane, bamboo, cocoa beans, and the list overall is fairly short. So something I think that Minecraft could certainly use in a new update is more farmable items and crops. I mean, even for farmland crops, there's only 6 types counting pumpkins and melons, and not there's only 4 types. And so maybe a completely alien and strange plant that you could grow, or even something that's in real life but not in Minecraft yet. Certainly adding a super crazy item that you could farm within Minecraft I think would be really cool, and maybe even adding a special function to that item, sort of like how with bamboo it can be crafted into sticks, but there's also the additional and unique use of making scaffolding out of it. Now speaking of farmable items and plants, there's a new wood type that Mojang will add in 1.20 if 1.20 is an acacia biome update, and that's because during the biome vote that talked about an acacia biome update, they were saying that they would add the Baobab trees to a savanna update, and although according to the small glimpse of them we had during the animation that was trying to show us the acacia biome update, they didn't really look like what they do right here, they still would be a rather large tree that would generate only in the savanna, making it a biome with two unique wood types all to itself. It would be pretty cool to have massive trees that can incredibly rarely generate throughout Minecraft's overworld, considering the fact as of right now there isn't actually that many massive trees in the game. The biggest tree you can probably get is a jungle tree, and even then compared to these, that's really nothing. We have no idea what it would look like, but it's definitely possible that Minecraft 1.20 would feature a brand new dimension. Would it be more like the end, the overworld, or the nether? I have no idea. But what we do know is that if there was a new dimension in Minecraft, it would likely feature brand new blocks, sort of like how the nether doesn't really share any blocks with the end or the overworld, but also that it's very likely you would go to it through the ancient city's portal and not through something else. Mojang did say a long time ago that they would be up to adding a new dimension to the game, they would just want to update all the existing ones first, which definitely to me lays the groundwork to us potentially having a new dimension in Minecraft 1.20 or maybe 1.21, especially depending on if Mojang considers the end to be finished or not. Some people think a new dimension might be like the Aether mod where it's up in the clouds, but if you have any theories to what a new dimension would look like, feel free to put them in the comments. If Mojang decides to update the acacia biome, there's two more things that we're 100% gonna see in them in 1.20. The first one is termites, and in this specific mod they have termites be these blocks that can have termite substance. If you're next to them, you'll actually get hurt if you're not crouching, somewhat like magma. I think that's supposed to show that if you're not careful around the termites' nests, they'll actually start to bite at you. Now of course in real life termites will eat wood, and so because of that I'm assuming if there's logs or planks next to them, the termites would slowly grow over to that. And although this is not at all what they looked like in Minecraft Live, there are also ostriches that this mod adds into the game, as ostriches were promised to be added to the savanna biome if it was updated. Now ostriches in the video stuck their head in the ground. I'm not sure if these ones have that behavior or not. And just like in real life, ostriches are somewhat of a neutral mob in the sense that if you attack them or if they're angry or provoked, they can actually be very dangerous animals that will try and attack you. Definitely something that we could see in Minecraft 1.20 are some new end dimension mobs. After all there is so far in the end dimension is simply shulkers and endermen, but having more mobs than this in the game could certainly add a lot to it, maybe like they have right here, a new type of slime. Another thing we could potentially see in the end is a flying mob. For instance, in this mod, we have these atmospheric dragonflies that you can find flying around the end dimension. I definitely think that more flying mobs being added to Minecraft would be great, and if there was an end dimension update adding lots of beautiful biomes, hopefully it could also be filled with life and not just new items. Sort of like how the Nether update added striders as well as the piglins to make the Nether seem more alive. An end update could certainly add different mobs as well, a mix of hostile, passive, and neutral, to really give the end a much needed upgrade. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video of 20 things we could see in Minecraft 1.20. Hopefully my predictions will be correct, but we'll find out on Minecraft Live. I'll see you in the next one, and please send help against all these mobs.